So, what a day when the tables will turn. What a day when the tables will turn. I am sitting here and observing all of the commentaries, the actions that are happening on social media. And one thing really stood out to me is how quickly human beings switch sides, switch allegiances when they have a falling out. It's no longer the era of forgiveness, it's no longer a time of repair, but people stand on these soapboxes claiming that they are going to be unbiased, that they are going to be objective so that they can be better bloggers or they can better represent different perspectives without seeming to be aligned with any particular person, which in itself is a commendable thing. It's really important that as bloggers we're able to speak on any subject without feeling as though we are obligated to stand on one person's side due to any kind of friendship or emotional ties. But if you're going to choose that pathway, it's really important that you maintain that throughout when dealing with all topics. Now, I observed a post that was made by a particular individual who shall remain nameless. And the post that was sent to me stated a number of different personalities, which, to which the person was giving certain compliments. There was a birthday greeting. There was a celebration of the yellow bus, followed by, the celebrating of a person's status as a big deal. There was also a compliment given to the creative content of another individual. And then there was an aside where the person was basically saying that nobody should be celebrating any man that goes out of their way to tear down women, and any man who goes out of their way to put out personal information about people. Now, I do agree with that, because at the end of the day, as I've always said, social responsibility is really important. And it is important that we recognize that no matter what side somebody is claiming they're on, if the actions are not right, they're not right. Okay? I do not believe that any man should be online disparaging a female for her body, for her, for her physical attributes, and using that as ammunition in any kind of verbal, conflict. However, if you are in fact going to be unbiased, if you are in fact going to be objective, then as you are speaking out against that type of behavior, regardless of gender here, you really should recognize that this attribute is not just for that man. Because the very person that you celebrated their creative content for has done more than one video where they put out personal details, actually intimate details about that said man. So an unbiased blogger would recognize that that is also equally disturbing and despicable, because revenge porn is a thing. And I do believe I saw somebody actually comment on it, and stated the same thing. And I was like, well done to that person for calling that out. Because at the end of the day, if you're claiming that you are now on a new path as a blogger to be objective and unbiased, call a spade, and be true to that, because neither party is above such actions. Both parties have put out personal information. Both parties have been extremely disrespectful to others on the internet, not just on the basis of gender, that a man shouldn't do it to a female. Because women are doing it to men, women are doing it to each other. And it's important that you recognize that nobody is better than the other. So this is what I see as the true thing that's taking place here. You are no longer aligned. So, because you're no longer aligned, you are now realigning yourself to gain acceptance from those who have an equal mentality of no longer being aligned to the big platform. You're trying to get some kind of recognition by calling that person's name, and possibly, I don't know if there's a personal communication still taking place. Possibly there is. I really hope there isn't. But that's not for me to comment on. But I really hope that discernment is being used wisely here, because any human being that goes out of their way to tarnish the image of somebody they claim to be a friend, and it can't be said any other way. It's not considered to be objective blogging when you tear your friends down in public. Is not capable of diplomacy. And that very comment that was made shows that there is a total lack thereof. How can you admonish the behavior of one person to another on the basis of gender alone, when both parties are guilty of the same offense? The evidence is clearly on the internet. And if you have not held it, it's certainly held by others. I certainly have it. Where this individual, who eventually got blocked on her page because of her behavior of displaying sexually lewd content that was personal and intimate to that individual, is now turning around and expecting you to crawl into her inbox to apologize to her, woman to woman. And you don't see that you are now a pawn in another game, that you are being looked at as some kind of, I don't know, lackey, for want of a better word, that's being used to propel their agenda. So exactly what you were trying to escape from is now exactly where you are going. They see you now as a puppet to pull and prod in the direction they wish for you to go. They see you now as crawling on your hands and knees, in need of acceptance from them. And I laugh at you for that. It is comical to watch. And you know why I laugh at you for that? Because in trying to be unbiased and daring to wrap certain names up in the same comment, you are coming across as an appeaser of the embittered, whose behavior you are now starting to celebrate and embrace. You are claiming that the individual's behavior was comical, was creative in relation to this individual, but you are not recognizing that this person was also very busy on that man's life, entertaining him, enjoying his content and his tearing down of other females. Up and down in the comments, communicating with this person on a regular basis who was advertising their business on his page, fully involved in the mess prior to their falling out and him deciding to put all of that enmity aside towards the big platform holder. But of course, your own hypocrisies and your own bitterness will not allow you to see that in a claim that you are now being objective. You have got the fact that the masses are fickle and easily forget. But us as platform holders who hold the files and the history of situations do not forget. And while it is that the big platform may forgive your behavior and may consider you to be, I don't know, some kind of friend, and I put that in quotes, I, for one, am not going to remove my spirit of discernment where you are concerned. I see you as a bitter and twisted individual. I see you as a person who basically uses your platform to create trouble. You deliberately poke and prod the tiger. And now you are doing it for approval from the people who basically were using their spaces on the internet to tear down an individual. Yes, you have got nothing else but a gripe that needs to be grinded. And you want that gripe to inform your followers. Now, that in itself is a manipulative move. And if nobody else sees it, I certainly see it, and I see it very clearly. It is disgraceful that you would seek to deliberately ignore the facts in order to claim objectivity. Everything that you state is tainted and is definitely biased, for the simple reason that you are using flowery words and then ending it with a half-truth. Now, yes, that individual did do some disgraceful things on his platform, some of which I consider to be unforgivable, personally. But at the end of the day, the very person that you placed in your complimentary statement was busy on that same person's platform, celebrating and enjoying the maligning of character of one individual, advertising their business, heavily involved in the tarnishing of a woman, if we're going to go the gender route as you have. And now that they are no longer involved with that person because they have had a falling out, why? Because this person that she is tearing down decided to stop and to seek forgiveness and to remove themselves from the mess. You are now claiming that this person does creative content, which I am not going to lie. Every platform holder is capable of creativity. I'm not getting involved in that part of it because as far as I'm concerned, it's clapback for clapback. So I'm leaving that where that is. But to justify it using gender is pathetic in itself, because gender has nothing to do with this. If you look at the fact that that same individual that you're claiming was creative was on that person's platform doing the same things that he was doing. But yet you give that person an accord of respect. You don't see that you are nothing but double standard, fraudulent, hypocritical, twice-tongued, devious, and bitter. This is the impression that is being given to those of us who are wise to your silly games. I'm going to leave it at that. But, like I said, I genuinely hope the big platform uses her spirit of discernment and recognizes that you are a very, very venomous individual. And you are trying your best to gain acceptance from a group of people who are nothing but wolves. And when they do turn and tear you apart, we shall all sit by and observe with a tiny degree of satisfaction, because it's coming, mark my words, because even they can see that you are not real. This is your girl, Head Teacher K.